Well, hello, one and all. We are back early in the morning, as always, for a double header. I am Somesh Agarwal. I have Nikhil and Gurkirat with me to discuss what will be. It's looking forward to be a very exciting day now that each side has played one game each, and of course, New Zealand and Netherlands have played two. Quite an important day. Gurkirat, Nikhil, top of the morning to both of you. How are you? And was it difficult to get up early again after a late night yesterday?
This isn't as early, but it does sort of tinker with your schedule somewhere, but not it's not like waking up for a game in Australia, a test match in Australia, or New Zealand in some cases where you can just avoid sleeping altogether.
Mm.
I think for me, after become a parent, it's a second thing. It's normal. So I am happy to wake up anytime that's there.
Yeah, and actually early morning comments. Thanks with it. Two matches on a weekday. For fuck's sake, how are we supposed to work? But yeah, I mean, with it, that's what we are here for. You can just hear our preview, and then just when the day ends, just be with us for the review. Meanwhile, you can follow our blogs on the cricket.com app, so you can work and you'd feel like you've not missed anything. With that, I mean, I'll ask the question that I always ask on a double header, guys. Which game are you looking forward to more today? I'll start with Gurkirat, you, and then maybe Nikhil, if you feel any different.
For good contest, I am looking forward to the second game. For controversy, I am looking forward to the first game.
Yeah, fair answer. And who can forget England? England, Bangladesh usually has been a spoiler of sorts for England. I mean, of course, by 2019 they were a different team, but they lost to Bangladesh in 2015. They lost to Bangladesh in 2011. So that has always been a cracker in a World Cup game. Nikhil, do you agree? Are you looking forward to both games in the same proportion as Gurkirat?
Yeah, I think I mean England play, so you get to learn new rules any which ways. So that is my one thing that I'm wanting to look forward to. कि आज कौन सा rule सीखेंगे thanks to England. With Pakistan Sri Lanka, I think it's a lot more riding on that game. Many may not know it is the 7-0 that's going on there as well. Sri Lanka are yet to win a game against Pakistan, so there is lots riding on that game as well for Sri Lanka.
Mm. And of course, बाबर भाई has joined us early morning मतलब सुबह सुबह नेट प्रैक्टिस पर निकलने से पहले. So good morning. Yeah, of
Yeah.
course, looking forward to you dominating unless of course you get stuck by DDS or Thixana if he's if he's playing. Guys, quickly before we head into the toss, and I am assuming that this game is going to start on time irrespective of rain and thunderstorm yesterday. Nikhil, what should be the side doing if they bat first or if they win the toss? Sorry. कैसा सवाल है?
I think I think the question has the answer in itself, but very interesting to see. Given whatever locals and others have said, they feel that it gets better to bat in the second, just because of the time that's there under the sun. But again, this is something that will keep happening in terms of we can always debate both ends. You want England will not mind batting first; they can get a very big score and then have their spin. And again, it depends on the pitch as well. If it's dry, then you will want to bat first. But if it's not going to change much, then you don't mind doing anything. From Bangladesh end, their weaker suit is their batting, so they may want to bowl and keep them to a total so that their batting isn't put under too much pressure. So let's see. I think I'm happy with both ends, depending on the pitch, of course.
Yeah, Gurkirat, England have not been a very good side while defending lately. Do you see them opting to chase?
Just to add, from 2022, they haven't chased any score over 250. Just to add.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, this is something that we actually spoke about in the first game. So, I mean,
Yeah.
they have found it tough to defend anything above 300 and chase anything above 250. So basically, what they want to do is bat first and score 300 plus. That's
Yeah.
their motto. That's the way they are happy with or comfortable with. Gurkirat, do you have any particular thoughts on what the team should be doing at the toss? And B, do you see any changes in the 11s?
I see only one change happening, and it's something that I'm reading about as well, which is Moeen Ali going out and Reece Topley coming in, and I think that's a good change. They could have even done that for David Willey, but I think they feel Topley is a better and a more all-rounded bowler, and that change makes sense. I had spoken about it earlier also, because if you need someone to bowl off spin, there's Livingston and there is Joe Root who
Joe
can do the job. And you want another pacer, because it's also you don't expect Bangladesh to struggle that much against spin. I was just reading our preview. Five of their batters have had an average of over 40. It's another thing that the strike rates are not high, but I feel strike rates not being how high is partly a function of the pitches that they play back at home. So it's a good change. Uh, whether a team should win the toss or bowl is or bat. Last game at Dharamshala, we felt bowling would be the right option, but
Hmm.
the ball did not swing as much, and the pitch
Mm.
was too fast. So difficult to say in that conditions. There have been overnight rain, so again you don't know how much moisture is there, or how much moisture is there in the pitch or in the air. So it's a difficult. It's the best toss to lose. Like I said, for
Yeah.
the first
Yeah,
game,
yeah,
really
yeah.
don't know what's the best thing to do.
Of course, and to all our viewers who are probably looking for that answer, Ben Stokes, I think, will still not play.
Hmm.
So that's there. Nikhil, any changes to the Bangladesh team that you are expecting?
Yeah, again, just like England, I'm expecting them to look for an additional bowler into their side. Keen to see whether it is Nasoom or Mehdi Hassan. In the warm-ups, from what I read in the previews, Mehdi Hassan was a lot more active, so he could come into the picture as well. But I think a lot of it will depend on the pitch. I think Herat also alluded to that in this presser, that they are happy, and I think it's a good place to be in for Bangladesh, that they have pace bases covered, and you
Mm.
are always never short of spin bowling options with them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think it's just about reading those conditions right. So expecting one change from both adding an extra bowler option.
So Mahmudullah goes out in that regard,
Yeah,
or anyone else?
yeah. I
Okay.
think Tawid drop Kana won't make sense, and Bangladesh
Hmm.
have won the toss. So that is one thing that definitely should be working in their favor if they read the conditions right.
Hmm. Let's see. Let's see what the teams decide to do in the toss. Oh, they've opted to bowl first, like Nikhil
Yeah,
has indicated.
yeah,
Let's meanwhile discuss a bit about the points table, guys. New Zealand are leading the charts with South Africa
yep.
second, but South Africa have a superior net run rate.
Hmm.
Guys, is it too early in the tournament, or do you think for the teams that lost the first game, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh, this become a really important game if they want to, not Bangladesh, England, if they want to sort of maintain themselves in the thick of things in the tournament, or do you think even after two losses, team can actually make a comeback?
Few teams can, but not all. See, you have to look at the relative strengths and weaknesses of the side. Now, Sri Lanka have lost to South Africa. That's, if you go by the rankings and if you go as per seedings, you would say that okay, the better team has won. But when it comes to Pakistan, I know Pakistan's ranking is better, but with Naseem being out, if Sri Lanka have any chance to finish in the top half or in the top four, the few games that Sri Lanka cannot afford to lose are the ones against, say, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, Netherlands. I'd add Pakistan and New Zealand in that range, because I feel that the 5, 6, 7 is between these three teams. So and the same goes for Pakistan as well. So both Pakistan and Sri Lanka cannot afford to lose this game at all. Coming to England, they lost to a side that I felt and even Nikhil felt that they should fancy their chances. So now that they've lost that game, uh, it would be on England to beat at least one of Australia, South Africa, or India to try and sort of, or maybe two teams out of them to try and sort of compensate for that loss against a team that they should have won. If England lose today, then it becomes even more tougher for them to qualify for the last four. Bangladesh, if they win today, nothing like it. Your prediction of them not winning three games could take a hit. So,
No, I said three games at max. So let's see.
yeah,
Let's see if they win four. That's the biggest question. Three, I can. Yeah, I'll still can think of them winning.
yeah. But if they beat England today, then they have two
Yeah,
games. One is against Netherlands, and they are going to play Sri Lanka as well. So there are
yeah,
chances that they could then sneak in another, and they're going to play New Zealand in Bangladesh. So that is a
yeah.
game that if Bangladesh win, I will not say it's an upset.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and just to correct you there a bit, they are going to play New Zealand in Chennai. So yeah,
What did I say?
In
they are
Bangladesh.
in
Oh,
Bangladesh.
sorry.
But
I
yeah,
said
the Chennai wicket that day was similar to wickets in Bangladesh. But
देखो
yeah,
अभी
चलता
अभी
है.
अभी सुबह
नहीं,
सुबह मैंने चाय
सुबह
भी नहीं
सुबह
पी.
हाँ,
सुबह सुबह चलता है.
excuse, excuse.
मैं भी अभी बांग्लादेश को ऑलरेडी एक मैच हरा चुका हूँ तो चलता है. So
Yeah, but
yeah,
I think expected changes in both teams. Mahmoodallah went out and Mehdi Hassan is coming. So that is 6 bowling options now on paper for Bangladesh. And for England, again, I think it's the same change that Paji said earlier. Okay, Topley Saab comes in for Moeen Ali.
Nikhil, do you feel Bangladesh have now brought in the off spinner? Do you think it would have been much more handier if they brought in a slow left arm bowler? Given that England
Yeah,
are not really as left hand heavy as they usually are, with Stokes not playing, Morgan retired today, even Moeen Ali is not there. From a matchup sake, would that have made more sense?
see, I feel again this is just a hunch. I feel given that they've brought in an off spinner, I think they expect some help. There is, as per reports, there is some moisture, so Pacers should get some advantage early on. But given that they've gone to that extra off spinner, see, they are the guys. I think Bangladesh is the one team who at times doesn't worry. They are all, of course, on extremes. Sometimes they worry too much about the matchup. Sometimes they just don't give an F. So today is one of those days where I feel they back themselves to bowl to the right side, which is something you see with Mehdi Hassan Miraz and even the other Mehdi. Even in the India ODIs that they played at home, you saw Mehdi Hassan bowl very well against
Hmm.
right-handers. They are able to control that. And we saw
Yeah,
what Colin Ackerman are in that were able to do against Pakistan. Even
Pakistan.
yesterday,
Yeah.
they were able to keep things tight, which is very surprising that we've spoken at length in last few years about wrist spin, and suddenly now finger spins is back in the forte, and then they are
Yeah.
getting turn, genuine
Hmm.
turn. I think just because I had to get it out, Santner's pace yesterday, absolute top stuff in terms of his fastest or his fastest was Jadeja's average.
Yeah.
So that I've been harping about getting the pace right, and you saw Sandman ended up with 5 wickets there. Yes, opposition is what it is, but to get that purchase, I'm very keen to see how this one works out for Bangladesh.
Just to get Nikhil's thoughts on this, I also felt that even Ravindra bowled slower than what he did in Ahmedabad.
100%, 100% agree. Yep.
Yeah, both of them were slower than Jadeja, so that is slow. Yeah,
They will
so
always be slower than Jadeja, be it bowling the balls or at the speed.
Let's hope by the end of the World Cup, Jadeja's faster with them with the bat.
yeah, let's see who ends up scoring more runs, him or Santner. Would be a good tussle between the two CSK boys. Uh, Gurki, shipping cost too high has a question for you. 1 second, where was it? No, actually, it was Babar Rao off day. England bowling is a serious concern. Agree, disagree?
It is. It's something that we discussed in the preview. I was looking at Rashid's numbers as well. Uh, he's played 5 games in India and he's gone for over 6 runs in each and every game. I read it in a preview when Shub's written a very holistic preview, and overall his economy rate is around 7. And this is something that we touched upon in the preview, that I hardly any of their bowlers or pacers have played more than 5 ODIs in India. So yes, it's a serious concern. And see, it's always been known about their bowling that on flatter decks or where there isn't help, they can be taken apart. It's just that it doesn't get exposed as much because when they play in England or at other places where pitches are flatter, their batting can compensate for their bowling far more, than than what their and what it might be able to do on pitches like the one in Ahmedabad, or even if this turns out to be slightly too paced. So it's a concern, a very legitimate concern, which is why again would be interesting to see how England bat today. Because if there is any help in the first 10 overs, you would expect England to try and not throw their bats around. Maybe just play out that initial, because even if there is going to be swing, I don't think it will be beyond the fifth or the sixth over mark. Once that is done, it's out of the way. The good thing is again, short boundaries, 61, 66 meter square boundaries. So any of that those England batters get in, they could really score big.
Hmm. Sachin Mondal adding in the comments, Vokes is not suitable for subcontinent. Yeah, maybe let's see if England would have been bowling first, probably Vokes would have loved it. But yeah, no, especially in the morning conditions up north. Guys, we have been receiving a lot of comments regarding X factors for this game, so why not just try and get to that segment now? Okay, Nikhil, I'll start with you first. Who is that one player that no? Start with, let's say, Bangladesh. Who's that one player that they would really need to fire, or someone who you feel is a very good, very can be an impactful player for the day, given the opposition.
Yeah, I'm hoping it is one of the pacers. Tuskin, I was very big on him in the first game, but didn't see a lot of movement coming through, and it didn't happen. Today there is supposed to be some moisture, so the spinners will always play a role. But I think Shoriful is someone who can really set the tone, because if he doesn't get Johnny Baba out early, then it could be Johnny yes Papa all day hitting day out. So that is where I feel Shoriful could be very, very crucial. You'll of course have the two spinners being very important. With the bat, they'll need Shanto to step up. But again, with Bangladesh, I know you'll come to Shakib as well. But मेरे को लगता है Rahim has had I think 550s. All of them have come batting first. But again, if they're chasing and if they're losing the openers early, he'll again be playing a very crucial role with the bat. But just one player, Shoriful Islam for Bangladesh. And for England, a tie between David Malan and Adil Rashid. I think Malan is someone who should be making the most of these conditions. कि moisture भी है तो जरा रुक के खेलो, see yourself in, get a very good knock, and then with a lot of runs under their belt and the scoreboard to bowl to, I think Adil Rashid can have a very good day because as Paji said, strike rates of Bangladesh, they may not get out, but the strike rates aren't something to boast or be confident about. So I think that's what I feel could be the play of the day if it remains good to bat.
No, important point about David Milan, because like how the England are structured and like how they actually want to play how Brook batted in the last game. To be honest, that's their template. They don't mind getting out in terms of even while maximizing an over. In that regard, I feel a player like David Milan is very essential for them. Someone who can bat at least till the 40 over mark at a strike rate of around 90, if not 120, and then others can actually just go ballistic around him. I had a cheeky smile when you mentioned Shakib because Johnny Bairstow, the guy you mentioned, his record against slow left-arm bowlers has not been great recently. So that is also one for the matchups. But we'll come to matchups later. Gurkirat, do you agree with Nikhil's thoughts, or do you have other X factors in mind?
Yeah, David Milan is the one I had in my mind because he's also had very good numbers versus off spin. Only been dismissed once to off spin in his ODI career. He has a average of 116. Though that one dismissal came to Mehdi Hassan, but also David Milan has played a lot of cricket in Bangladesh. You know your franchise cricket and other cricket. So he would be used to those a lot of Bangladeshi bowlers and uh, once he's gotten his eye in again today if he's able to bat those that period out, it just sets up the game very well for England. So could really allow all other batters to come in and this then just keep swinging, and that is what England would ideally like to do. So that X factor was going to be David Milan for me. For when it comes to Bangladesh, it's slightly tricky to decide who could be the X factor, but looking at Tuskin because he has a good matchup versus Butler and extra pace. If the pitch is actually too paced or slightly up and down, then bowlers with extra pace become slightly more difficult to handle because the bounce also becomes inconsistent. So from that view, looking at Taskin to do well, Shoriful actually, when Nikhil was speaking, I just looked at Shoriful is probably playing his first game versus England. He's not played versus England before, so could also be a surprise package for England.
Yeah, and Sachin Mondal going on to ask Bangladesh has three lefties in the top four. Moin should be playing, but Sachin, they already have Liam Livingstone and Joe Root to do the matchup role. So I mean, why play an extra bowler just for that sake? So that's there. We can,
Just to add on that average bit, Conway yesterday had an average of 226 versus spin, and he eventually got out to Roland van der Merwe. So it is, and again, a left-arm spinner dismisses a left-handed batter. Many teams could be surprised.
अब 226 का भी एवरेज है तो कभी तो आउट हुआ ही होगा. So that's there. I mean, I think it was just a lapse. His bat twisted in
Yes.
and it was just a lapse. I felt he was going for a. I mean, the shot was on. Is what I can say. Yeah, I mean, and we must not forget that this is a double header. There is second game as well. A lot to chat about that, but before that, guys, 34 of you watching, please give us a like. It really helps us. It really helps us boost the stream and let it reach people to a wider audience. I have a few stats with me. Let's see if we can put those up. We have something about Josh Butler, Gurkirat mentioned that Tuskin has a very good matchup against Josh Butler, but Josh Butler has been in a very good run of form. His wicket was the turning point in the first game. All of us felt that. So let's see how Butler performs in this game. Moving forward to the second game, guys, I'll start from right up top. The obvious thing, it won't be on the same pitch as yesterday, right? Even though it's on the same venue.
Yeah, you'd hope so, but again, we'll have to just wait and watch. It should still be different pitch, but the nature is still being the same. Okay, in the first gig, you see some help for spinners, and not some. It is decent enough help. Yesterday, it did a lot more in the second innings. So, if that is the case, I think both Sri Lanka and Pakistan will be a bit more evenly matched in terms of the options that they have at least on paper. So that could should hopefully result in a very good game.
Gurkirat, what about the toss in that game? If you're a captain, what would you be doing?
Both teams' strong suit isn't chasing. We have seen even, but if I still feel that if one team is able to put a score of 280, 290, I just fancy that Pakistan might just have more batting depth to chase it down. And but yeah, it's going to be difficult to say what's the best way to or best decision to do once you've won the toss, because we don't know how the pitch is going to be, and for sure this is going to be a different pitch. And today is also the last game at Hyderabad. After this, the World Cup moves out of Hyderabad. So and you'll again like to see what Sri Lanka's 11 is, because we had discussed this after the South Africa game that uh, if Tikshana is fit and he comes in, who does he come in place of? Nikhil was saying that maybe one of Rajita or Madhushanka might go out. I felt that they could go with the more experience in their bowling lineup and could just uh, drop Pathirana. But would be interesting to see. And from somewhere, if the pitch does turn out to be slower, even if it is in the second innings, because there was turn yesterday in the second innings, you'd really want to see someone from Pakistan take the attack, or at least take the onus of making sure that they don't get stuck versus spin. You may not have to, go at a rate of 6 or 7 versus spin, but at least keep the strike rotating, which with that top three hasn't really happened as often as you would have liked.
Yeah, and you can see on your screen why Tikshana is such a key for Sri Lanka. He has been someone who can bowl with the new ball as well, and actually primarily has been used as a new ball bowler. Nikhil, any other changes that you foresee in the second game? Any changes from Pakistan? And if
I
Tikshana
don't
comes
think.
in, he comes in for whom? That's a
I
bigger
think it will.
question, actually.
Yeah, it is. It could be Lahiru. Maybe if they want to go by that order, that Lahiru maybe came in because Thikshina was not there. Rajit has been part of the setup as well. So maybe it could be him and not Rajita. From Pakistan, I don't really think there is a need to change anything there. Uh, they had a tough game against Netherlands, and then by tough I mean they were tested for a decent amount of time. But they have most bases covered. Hassan Ali taking wickets is good. Rauf Lala always finds a way to strike in middle overs, and then you have Shadab Nawaz to always be there and thereabouts. And if it is helping spin, it could really be interesting to see when Shadab has that turn of events of him starting to take consistent wickets and not just one wicket here and there due to the batter's error. So Saud Shakil's form was also good. So I don't expect change as much. They'll probably give Fakar also 2 more games and then probably take a call with him. Maybe after the
Hmm.
Chennai game.
Gurpreet, your X factors for the second game?
X factor for the second game went for Saud Shakil for Pakistan in the
Yeah.
last game. We'll probably have to go for Rizwan today. And if Tikshana comes back, you'll have to have Tikshana as Sri Lanka's X factor because he could really be the key in the middle overs in terms of taking out Rizwan or even Saud Shakil. Anyway, we know that he's going to do the job against the top three. He will come and bowl early, but yeah, Rizwan and Tikshana.
Nikhil?
Yeah, I think those are very good picks taken out. क्योंकि इसके अलावा you don't see the top three coming good. Nissanka would love to score some runs. I'll stick with Asalanka. So not making boss happy early in the day, but Asalanka as the X factor, and again rightly so. You see highest average.
या so I mean,
Probably
कुछ बोलने की जरूरत ही नहीं है यार इसके बाद.
बिल्कुल. I think he's just also scored. I think the most number of runs since his debut at in that order of 4 to 7 just speaks volumes about the temperament. Even the last game that in the Asia Cup that they won, Charit showed a lot of character. Even in the previous game against South Africa, he showed he could adapt to the situation. So I feel he's someone who could be very handy. With Pakistan, because I have to pick one, I'll still stick with Ifti Chacha, especially while batting first. Again, he plays a very vital role, bridges the gap between the flurry of people who could hit and the top order. And in the last game against Sri Lanka, he bowled and took 3 wickets, if I'm not wrong. So his bowling will also be handy. There are enough options for Sri Lanka up top who are lefty. So him taking wickets will be Kusal for Pakistan.
Yeah, I
Just
think
just one bit I wanted to add here with respect to Pakistan. Fakar Imam and Babar's power play strike rates this year are 78.13, 72.7, and 58.21.
just to
बड़े
add on
बड़े
to it,
टीम्स में बड़े बड़े टीम्स में ऐसी बातें होती रहती हैं.
I think the one thing that both Sri Lanka and Pakistan have in common is their woes at the top of the order. Now, Pathum Nissanka has been averaging 19 in his last 8 innings, and Fakhar Zaman has been averaging 18 in his last 11. So, yeah, I mean, let's see if any of those openers sort of overperform based on what they have been doing recently, or it's gonna go by the trend. One of the segments we didn't touch upon for the first game was key battles because we already spoke about Bairstow versus Stowe left arm. Paju talked about Butler versus Tuskin, but we'll definitely want to know about the key battles in the second game. Nikhil, we'll start with you. The battles that you're looking forward to when Pakistan plays Sri Lanka.
Pakistan playing Sri Lanka, so I'll go with definitely Hassan Ali versus Kusal Mendes. That record is at this point of time heavily skewed in favor of Hassan Ali. Probably dismissed him thrice, if I'm not wrong, and hasn't bowled a lot also. 18 ball में 3 बार out कर चुका उसको, तो that is something that Kusal will be very mindful of. And again, bowling with a new ball. So if Kusal is in early, you'd want to ensure that you take him out because the way he's batting right now, he's giving you those vibes that he can do anything. There is nothing that's stopping him, especially that pickup shot that he played in that previous game of Jansen. It's scary. So you
Yeah.
will not want, and you know that Pakistan are reliant heavily on the new ball wickets. So if that doesn't happen, it could really be very. They might be chasing the game for a long time.
Okay. Gurkirat.
Yeah, for me, there are two battles. One is the Pakistan top order with versus the Sri Lankan spinners. I am also interested to see how Velalage bowls today because last game he did got a lot of beating. It is going to be a learning curve for him, but the ball that he bowled, just the way he had set up Babar Azam in that last game, which Nikhil was talking about, was beautiful to see. So can he come back and deliver a good performance is something that I'm looking forward to. And when it comes to the second battle, that's primarily between the Sri Lankan middle order, the engine room that Nikhil had mentioned, versus Pakistan's pacers in the middle overs. I don't think the spinners will have that much of an impact, but I feel that that extra pace of Haris Rauf and
Yeah.
how Hassan Ali has been accurate is going to, and I also feel that if Babar if Babar's slightly proactive, which he has shown in the last couple of games, then he could also go back to Shaheen for a spell of 2 overs, 2 to 3 overs in the middle overs to just try out and scalp those wickets. So that Sri Lankan engine room versus Pakistan pacers and Pakistan's top order versus Sri Lankan spinners, because I feel that if the top three of Pakistan again do the job that they've been doing, they are going to dig up a hole for that middle order to come. And if Pakistan are chasing with pitch also getting slower and those spinners are coming into attack, I think Sri Lanka could win with be a decent chance, especially if they're able to put a total of 270 to 80.
All right, with all those X factors and key battles of the way, and a few minutes go into to start the game, guys. Time for predictions. How many do you think England will end up scoring?
I think Jai Mata Di karte karte still I'll stick to VVS. Utna to they will want 281. If they get in, Livingston and somebody else has a great day, maybe over 300. But 280 is what I'm sticking to, given the uneven nature of the pitch, because we don't know how it will eventually turn out.
Will Bangladesh fancy chasing 280 if they're able to restrict England to 280? Because I think with England 280 would come under the bucket of being restricted.
Yeah, but again, a lot will have to come good from the top three for Bangladesh. If they rely again on Shaki Ibrahim, Tawhid only at 4, 5, 6 to chase 280, to nahi hoga. They'll need 100 or something odd from the top three to give them a platform. But फिर वहाँ से let's see where it goes.
Good, Kirat.
Yeah, for Bangladesh to chase, they'll need Litton to come into some sort of form. He's been he's been in no form whatsoever. But yeah, I was going to go for what Greg was saying, that it could be an extreme. It could yeah, if things work out for England, then it could be 330. If not, yeah, 260, 270 is something that you would hope that in the worst case that they could get, because in the last game they were also 252 for 8 or 9. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was the last wicket partnership that took them to 280. So I expect something similar in that regard.
Yeah. And okay, of what we know of England, they will definitely go harder and not softer at this game. Yeah, Greenwich Gonzalez is asking us about outfield. Everyone is looking forward to it, and that's why Gurkirat said up top that for the Mayor controversy, he's looking forward to the first game, but for the contest, he's looking forward to that second. We will not leave you guys without a stat, and in our very new Did You Know section. Yep, कहाँ गया? Where is Did You Know? Yeah, here is it. And we felt, all of us feel that the game between England and Bangladesh is featuring one of the best all-rounders ever to have played ODI cricket. But it was Paul Collingwood who is the only player to score 100 and take a 6-wicket haul in the same game, and he did that against Bangladesh in 2005. So maybe let's see if England can unearth a Paul Collingwood of their own in this game. I think
If I'm not wrong,
say something. Yeah.
if I'm not wrong, this came in that NatWest Tri series
Kevin Peterson
Aus-
series.
with Australia also being the third team.
Yeah.
And Bangladesh winning that game against Australia with Mohammad Ashraful scoring that 100. I think it's from the same series.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. That series could have been Mohammad Ashraful series, but now we just remember it as a Kevin Peterson series. But with that, we will end the show. Of course, we'll be back around 9:30, 10-ish in the night to review the day and not just the second game. So we'll see you around. Hope everyone joins back in, and please do like the stream. And we'll see you in around 12 hours time. Goodbye.